We go to this now, where the United Democratic Front has also launched their manifesto for the upcoming elections. Zero tolerance to corruption was top of the agenda. Our reporter Juniour Khumalo covered the event for us and spoke to UDM leader Bantu Holomisa.
We have a guest with us who is going to walk us through that manifesto that was launched by the UDM this morning, and that is the UDM leader, Bantu Holomisa. But before we go into that, just to speak about some of the key highlights that he highlighted when he delivered that manifesto launch. He spoke about a zero tolerance towards corruption. That was the main theme around this manifesto launch by the UDM. The UDM was one of three parties to launch their manifestos today. We know that the PAC also launched this manifesto in Soweto, and then the Freedom Front Plus also launched this manifesto. But to get to that key theme of zero tolerance towards corruption, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Holomisa. You spoke about how South Africans were actually complicit in this by continuing to vote for a party that does not basically deal with corrupt leaders. Can you please expand on that?
If you visit the Zondo Commission's findings, you will emerge out after having read that report with a picture that tells you that the looting of state resources are done by the party itself, which is running South Africa today. That is the ANC. Over and above that, their leaders have been fingered in that report. Therefore, there is no way that we can address the issue of corruption and expect the current leadership of government to address that. They cannot cleanse themselves out of this quagmire. Therefore, the voters have to vote for other political parties so that we can clean our country and begin to rebuild it. Never again shall we put all our eggs in one basket, because it has proven to be a breeding corruption.
And speaking about just cleaning that corruption, not only the voters, but also the National Prosecuting Authority has that responsibility of doing that. You spoke about the NPA and how it has failed to prosecute some cases. You named the Ace Mahashule case as well as the Timothy or Omotoso case as well. What are some of the challenges that the NPA is facing, and what would you do if the UDM was actually put in power and in charge of the NPA?
The NPA, you will only know what are the challenges of the NPA when you are in government. Currently, you can see that there is a political interference in some of the cases. There is no way that in the last 30 years, the only higher official who was prosecuted, I think it was a former commissioner of police then. The rest of the people are in the cabinet who have been fingered by the Zondo Commission. The rest of the people who have appeared in court, some of them, their cases are always postponed. So until we remove this government and get to know what is the cause for the delays in prosecuting people, but it's clear that the ANC is putting the interest of the ANC ahead of the country.
Thank you so much for that chance to speak to you. That is the UDM President, Bantu Holomisa, who just recently today launched the manifesto for his party. And he says that despite being at the helm for almost 3 decades now, he still has a lot to give to the organizations and to South Africans as well. The UDM is one of those parties that are going to be taking part in the national and provincial elections on the 29th of May.